finished. We're just doing some more music here. And all right, here we go. 15 seconds.
Okay.
La 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 la. I used to be a tap dancer in another life, but I kept on falling off the sink and breaking my legs. So stop.
Hey, Rob, I sent you some.
Hold on.
Okay.
This is Rob McConnell wishing each and every one of you a very, very Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy, prosperous New Year. From our home to yours, love, light, and spirituality today and every day from this day forward. Merry Christmas, everyone.
One day at midnight, the sun was so bright, the moon had no light, but I could see this big old Sasquatch. Said he was top-notch at playing hopscotch way up in a tree. So I bet my wristwatch that big old Sasquatch could never play hopscotch way up in a tree. Now there's a Sasquatch up in a tree crotch. He's got my wristwatch and he's laughing at me. I told the Mounties throughout the
Exonation, welcome back, everyone. That's Stompin' Tom Connor's Sasquatch song, and you're listening to us here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on Classic 1220, streaming around the world on classic1220.ca. Paul Dale Roberts is my guest, and if you'd like to find out more about Paul, all you need to do is Google him or go to Bing or Edge or wherever and type in Paul Dale Roberts. Before I get back to Paul, I'd like to remind everyone that the X Chronicles newspaper will be available for one and all on, Thursday at around noontime at www.xchronicles.net. And there's the X Zone Christmas store at X Zone, that's XMAS, no, what is it, Craig? You changed it on me overnight. XZONEXMAS.com. A lot of great Christmas presents, gauged towards the paranormal. Well, that's a mouthful. Thank you. My friend Paul Dale Roberts is with us, and Paul, we were talking about law enforcement officers and prison, guards seeing a lot of paranormal activity and piquing their interest in it. What are some of the stories that you've heard about police officers and, prison guards?
Well, my ex-brother-in-law, Simon Mitchell, was also too a correctional officer. And he was a correctional officer at Folsom Prison and some other location. And he said that this one ghost of this inmate who was killed in prison actually haunts this other inmate who's still living in his cell. And this inmate would start screaming in the middle of the night, and Simon Mitchell, the correctional officer, would run over and, "Why are you screaming?" He goes, "There's a ghost in my cell. It's that inmate who was killed." And they were actually, when that inmate was alive, those two inmates were always constantly fighting. In fact, he was actually contemplating killing that inmate. But now that inmate, who's now dead, haunts his cell and wakes him up in the middle of the night, even scratched him a little bit. So Simon Mitchell, my ex-brother-in-law, says, yeah, he witnessed the paranormal just through that story. He didn't actually see it happen, but he heard the story and he believes that inmate because it would almost happen every other night.
Strange things happen all over the place. Some of the stories that I've never heard about boggle my imagination. I have never heard, all right, maybe you're going to prove me wrong, which I'm sure you will. I haven't heard of a haunted morgue or a haunted funeral parlor.
Huh. That's interesting. My wife was actually going to work at a morgue in Elk Grove, and the owner of that morgue said that he has seen spirits at the morgue. They are not harmful. He would just see them, a glimpse of them with his peripheral vision, and they would just kind of vanish. So I have never investigated a morgue, so I wouldn't have really any kind of expertise in that. But according to that one owner, he says, yeah, his morgue was haunted by passing spirits.
Could you share with us your experience at the haunted hospital when you were doing that TV show?
Oh yeah, my son Jason, he went to the hospital. He had some type of bladder infection, and while he was there, I'm in the waiting room and I'm getting kind of bored and stuff like that. I was talking to some of the nurses and I said, yeah, is this hospital haunted? I'm a paranormal investigator. They kind of chuckled and laughed, but they said, yeah, I've actually experienced a few things in the hospice area. I said, really? So on my own, kind of sneaking around, I had my recorder. I went to the hospice section and kind of sat down and relaxed and stuff and see if I see anything. And I actually did. I saw this old man, and he had a walker, and he was just taking his time, and he's kind of walking towards me. Well, I thought it was a real person. And he walks into a wall. It's like, what the heck? And I was eating some chips from a bag, and the bag of chips crumbled in my hand. I said, holy cow, this hospital is really, really haunted. And that was over in Midland, Odessa. So yeah, they flew me over Toronto to tell my story, and definitely, in my mind, all hospitals are haunted because people die there all the time.
The last time you were on the show with us, Paul, which wasn't that long ago, we talked about some of the naval ships that are haunted.
Oh yeah, like the USS Nimitz.
Yeah.
Yeah. The USS Nimitz, very haunted. My ex-brother-in-law, Robert Mitchell, he served on the USS Nimitz. And the serial killer, John Eric Armstrong, was actually assigned to the USS Nimitz. And John Eric Armstrong, the serial killer, he killed 2 people in Seattle, and one of them was a trans. And he killed 5 prostitutes in Detroit. And it's believed that when the USS Nimitz would stop at different ports, that he most likely killed a prostitute at every single port. So you had that going on, and they would actually see a woman ghost on the USS Nimitz, and they believe that was probably one of the victims of John Eric Armstrong. And another thing with the USS Nimitz is that they had a plane crash on the USS Nimitz, and 14 Navy personnel died. And the servicemen on the USS Nimitz, they would see faces appear on reflective surfaces. And those faces that are on those reflective surfaces are the deceased Navy personnel who died in that plane crash on the USS Nimitz. And then also, too, on the USS Nimitz, you had that Tic Tac UFO outside of San Diego. And USS Nimitz is a target for UFO activity because it's an actual attack nuclear-powered warship. So, yeah, So that's with the USS Nimitz.
Exonation, Paul Dale Roberts is our guest, and this is the X Zone, and you're listening to us right here on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streaming around the world on classic1220.ca. You sent us some information about Lawrence Livermore Labs in California. Now, isn't that one of the labs that does a lot of high-tech research and development for NASA?
Yes, and also too, they do super-powered lasers. In fact, our governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, wanted to invite some of his celebrity friends to the Lawrence Livermore Labs to actually witness some of the super lasers that the lab had. And those super lasers is an attraction for UAP activity, UFOs. And the reason why, because it's high tech, lasers can be very dangerous, can probably even shoot down a UAP, a UFO. And so I would think that extraterrestrials would have a strong interest in the Lawrence Livermore Labs. The people who live in Livermore, California, say that there's UFO activity there every single night. So HPI, Halo Paranormal Investigations, my group, we went to a camping area near Lawrence Livermore Labs. And we can't actually get into those labs because it's like top secret and everything else. So we stayed on the campsite and we looked at the night sky all night long. And we did see some starlight UAPs that moved erratically in the sky. So there was something like 9 investigators with me, and about 5 of them, including myself, did witness some strange activity in the sky, and the UFOs were at a distance where they looked like stars, but they didn't move like satellites, and they moved erratically. There was like one UAP actually moved in a Z formation, and no conventional aircraft can move in a Z formation quickly.
But isn't it fair to say that no conventional aircraft that we know of, or that has been publicly announced, can do that? Is it possible that there's top secret aircraft that can actually do that the Air Force or any of the other military just hasn't disclosed yet? Because if they disclose it to the public, they're going to disclose it to those countries that are not friendly to us, right?
Well, absolutely, Rob. Yeah, something like that could possibly be one of our military secretive aircraft, and it wouldn't be piloted by a human because the G-force alone, going at that high rate of speed, doing a Z formation, would kill you. You would turn into jelly. So, if anything, maybe it's a robotic type drone. Yeah, that's moving at those incredible speeds and those erratical type behavior.
All right, Paul, stand by. We've got to take our final break for this hour. In Exonation, our guest this hour is Paul Dale Roberts. Just Google him. All the information is there. Type in Paul Dale Roberts. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streaming around the world on classic1220.ca. The X Zone is a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X Zone comes to you Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock, like I've been saying all night, right here on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streamed at classic1220.ca. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
Said he was top-notch at playing hopscotch way up in a tree. So I bet my wristwatch that big old Sasquatch could never play hopscotch way up in a tree. Now there's a Sasquatch up in a tree crotch. He's got my wristwatch and he's laughing at me. I told the Mounties.
segment. I laugh when Stompin' Tom is saying there's a Sasquatch in the tree crotch.
Yeah.
It sounds like a venereal disease for trees.
Oh my God. Hey Rob, I sent you some information for some possible guests, like Tim Shorts of Ancient Aliens.
Can you resend it to me, because we were having problems with email, Paul?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, send it to me at my radio station email address, xzone@classic1220.ca.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that, pal.
Oh, no problem.
It's been a pain in the ass.
Yeah. And I even have another person named Danielle Diva, and she is related to Dracula.
Oh, super. That would be great.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just see here. Come on, I want to have something. Let's have some fun. Oh, we've been talking about killing today, so that'll work. Let me see.
I can tell you about Leonard Lake, Charlesine, Wilseyville, Peltier Road Bridge.
Okay, let's talk about that when we come back.
Okay.
I just want to see if this is the right song I want. Yeah, that's the right one. Okay, so... Okay, let's do it, buddy.
Okay.
Here for 15 seconds.
Okay, sounds good.
Are you little? I am evil Homer. I am evil Homer. I am evil Homer. I am evil Homer.
Being beat up and battered around, being sent up but I'm being shut down. You're the best thing that I've ever found, and only with her. Reputations changeable, situations terrible, but baby you're adorable, and only with her.
Now, welcome back, everyone. This is the Excellent. I'm Rob McConnell, and we're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios right here in the beautiful city, the Garden City of Ontario, St. Catharines. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone@classic1220.ca. And why I'm chuckling is because that little clip we played, it's called, let me see, where is it? Simpsons, Homer Simpson kills Elmo. And you know, I can understand where Homer was coming from, because one year my dear wife Laura bought 4 of our younger grandchildren Elmo dolls for Christmas. Not just the regular ones, but the ones that talk. And when you've got 4 little grandchildren who have little Elmo going at the same time, saying different things, I can understand why Homer wanted to do that to Elmo. I wanted to do that to Elmo, not to the grandchildren, just Elmo. Oh. Welcome back, Paul.
Thank you, Rob.
What do you think about Elmo? Go crazy for him?
Yeah, I love The Simpsons. I mean, and what's so amazing about The Simpsons is the fact that a lot of their episodes predicted the future. They predicted that Trump would become president. And they did a bunch of other predictions, and they all came true, which is kind of amazing.
Yeah. How do you celebrate Christmas? In Elk Grove, California, you don't get snow.
No, we don't get snow. It gets cold, though, sometimes.
All right, Paul, what do you consider cold?
70 degrees?
Well, if you're looking for sympathy, my friend, you're on the wrong show.
But we have our Christmas tree up and everything else, and I like to let my wife do her own Christmas shopping at the mall. She knows what she wants and picks out, so yeah, I let her do her own thing.
My wife does her shopping from our living room on something called Amazon.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, by the way, that was not a plug for Amazon, so...
But you can find my books on Amazon, Paul Dale Roberts.
That was a plug for Amazon.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, you know, like every time I go to bring our little fur baby downstairs for a walk, I have to pass by the mail area, and they've got these big tables set up, and they're usually just jam-packed with packages from that company. I mentioned a few places where your books are sold, Paul. And I often, you know, sometimes I swear I'm going to get a hernia carrying all the boxes upstairs. I'm like, holy cow. I remember Christmas. When I was a kid, it was about family. You know, it was about everybody getting together, and, you know, the Christmas tree, the turkey, and, you know, your aunts, your uncles coming. Mind you, my mother used to made Christmas paranormal for me when I was a kid, because she would tell us Christmas Eve. Well, this is what would happen. Christmas Eve, my brother and I, we had to get ready for bed. We each had our baths, and then we get ready for bed. And as we're getting ready for bed in the bathroom, my mother would say, the angels left new pajamas for you under the Christmas tree.
Oh.
Now, when you're 5 or 6 and your mother tells you angels brought you pajamas, like, am I going to die?
Oh my God.
You know, like, why in the name of God would you tell a kid that?
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
Really? Yes.
That was about the strangest thing that happened to me as a kid when it came to the paranormal and my dearly departed mother. How do you celebrate Christmas?
We got the Christmas tree. We sometimes hand out gifts to our friends, and in fact, this Christmas time we handed out a bunch of gifts. My wife makes these cute little resin type figurines and stuff of snowmen, of elves, and stuff like that, and we give those away for free to people that we like. And yeah, so yeah, if you were nearby, you'd probably be getting one, Rob.
Well, thank you, buddy. I noticed you said people you like you give for free, so the people you don't like you charge for, right?
Yeah, they get charged.
You know, the Christmas is my favorite time of the year, and there's no doubt about it. There's something special, and if people do not believe in spirits, man, the Christmas spirit you cannot deny.
And you were mentioning your fur baby. I have two fur babies here, Story and Champagne. Champagne's a Chihuahua, and Story is an Ayrshire, half Australian Terrier and half Yorkshire Terrier. And we actually, on some cases, bring them along because they can sense a ghost. They've actually chased something that we couldn't see, or they cornered something and start barking at it. So they've actually been very helpful. They're canine paranormal investigators, and they do very well.
Animals are very intuitive.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. You and I were talking briefly during the commercial break about an investigation that you did called the Pelletier Road Bridge in Galt.
Yes, that's a very unusual bridge. And the information I'm going to say here, you can actually look it up because it's almost unbelievable.
Okay.
Back in the 1800s, a stagecoach was going down where that bridge is located, and these two gentlemen saw an egg-shaped UFO land in the field. And from that UFO came out two tall aliens holding an egg-shaped object in their hands that was glowing. And they were approaching the men, and the men thought they were going to be abducted and took off in their stagecoach.
Now, how long ago was this, Paul, and where exactly is Galt?
Galt, California is near Lodi, and you probably heard the song by Creedence Clearwater Revival, Back in Lodi Again.
Yep.
Galt is right next to Lodi. And the UFO case that I talk about is a very famous case. You can Google Galt, California UFO, and it'll talk about it. But besides that, Peltier Bridge is very haunted. They actually, people driving on that bridge, they see a woman and she looks like she's crying in distress and walking along that bridge. Well, stories are that some people have committed suicide at the bridge. And also, too, this is a well-known case, but this guy and his cousin picked up this woman who happened to be the girlfriend of one of the guys, and they took her out in the woods to get physical with her in a very bad way. Well, she was fighting them off, and they wind up killing her and dragging her body along the road in their car.
Oh, for gosh sake.
Yes. And her spirit is seen at that bridge. And that happened like in the 1980s. Many paranormal investigators who have investigated that bridge, they know about the UFO story, and they know about the murder incident that happened by the bridge. And they have picked up EVPs of a woman crying. One of my investigators, not me, but one of my investigators picked up an EVP, and it sounded like a woman screaming. So that bridge is very, very haunted. When you go over it at night, you feel like there's people, you feel like someone's watching you. And it's just, it gives you goosebumps. It's just a very, very creepy bridge. And it's Peltier Bridge, and it's a very scary spot. If paranormal investigators, sometimes I hear the new ones going, well, we have all this equipment and we've got no place to go. You have all kinds of places